Hi there. Do you ever struggle when you have to make an oval shape which works around your foundation chain? A few things that people find a bit annoying. First of all, you can get this sort of gappy bit down the centre, and also people find it hard to work out exactly where the end stitches need to go. So I'm going to show you how to work a lovely oval like this without any sort of nasty holes in the centre, and how to work the edges. Today's part one of showing you how to make a perfect oval if you need to make one for maybe the base of a bag or something like that without any holes in the centre. So first of all, make your slip knot, and I like to make it so that it's the short end that tightens. There we go. And we're going to make 8 chains. So when you're making your chains, don't pull them too tight. Always make sure that they can move easily on the thickest part of your crochet hook. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The last one is a turning chain. In part 2 of this tutorial, I'm now going to show you how to pick up really neatly in the back bumps of stitches around one side of the oval. Now, if you like charts, there's a little chart here. If you don't worry about it. But we've started here and done our 8 chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is our turning chain, doesn't count as a stitch. Now I'm going to go into that second chain in the back bump. Now, what does that mean? So take your chain, turn it sideways. You will see these little bumps at the back, there, and so on. So you don't work into the first stitch, that's your turning chain, so go into that bump. It can be a bit fiddly, but keep turning your work and make a UK double crochet or a US single crochet. Then into the next one and do the same all the way along your chains. Now I will meet you back when we reach the last chain. So we've now reached the back bump of the last chain, and if you can see from the chart, if you like charts, we started here. So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 doubles UK or singles US. In the last chain, I'm actually going to work 3 stitches in that back bump. So let's show you that now. There's the back bump of the last chain. Go through there and work my stitch. So yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Now work your second one in the same space. Now I like to just tighten up a bit, move the chain out of the way before I work my third one in that same space. And now we've turned the corner. So there we go. So we've now worked around our corner, and now because you worked into the back bumps on this edge here, you've got these lovely stitches to work into now, and that's what makes this so much neater than other methods. So I've got to work 5 straight, coming around here now, 5 straight UK double crochets or US singles. 1, 2. So going through both those loops, that closes up like any hole that might be left in the middle. Now we're back at the corner. Sorry, my hands are a bit sticky, so I keep catching that. We're back at the corner here. So the last thing we need to do is 2 UK doubles or US singles, and then slip stitch into the first stitch to make our second corner or semicircle. 1, 2. Now be careful here because you've got a chain and you really don't want to join into that chain. You want to join into the very first proper stitch, which is that one with a slip stitch. Pull that nice and tight because you don't want to think that's a stitch, because it isn't actually a stitch when you go around again. So there you go, there's our first round. Not many holes in there. Now we're on to our second round, which is this round in red on the chart. So we slip stitched into this first stitch. We're now going to start working these circular corners. So we need to do 2 DCs or US SCs into that first stitch. And that is where you slip stitch into. So it is actually into that same stitch. If you're never sure where to put your first stitch, I just put a bit of yarn across to show me oh, this is where I started. So 2 into there. And that starts off that corner there. Now the straight bit is 5 as before, so let's do those next and then I'll show you the next corner. So there we are. We're at the next corner now. So like before, I'm going to use a marker to show me where that corner starts when I get to the next round. So in the next 3 UK double crochets, I've got to work 2 double crochets in each. So if you're US, that's all single. So 2 in that one, just working around that orange yarn. So I've got a marker for where I started the shaping. 1, 2 in that one, 2 in the next one there, 1, 2, and 2 in the next one. And then that's the end of the shaping for this round. We're still on round 2, which is the red one. What we're coming round, we just worked this corner or circle, I keep saying that. We're going to do 5 straights and then the corner or the circle on the other side. Now, just like I did before, I've marked the edge of the shaping bit so that I know where that is in later rounds. It can be really useful. There you go, that's marked. So I'm going to do 5 UK double crochets for the straight section. And there we are. Now we've come to the corner. So we've reached in round 2, the last part of this round now, with 2 double crochets there, 2 double crochets there, and then joining into the first one of those 2 there. So I've marked it again with a different colour yarn. I find that so helpful. So 2 in the next stitch. So double crochets in the UK or single in the US. So there's the mark. 2 in there, 2 in the next one, and that's the end one of the chart. And then we need to join into the first stitch. Now you might say to yourself, well, there's another stitch there, but that is the slip stitch that you joined with, so you don't work into that one. That's why it's useful to have these markers. We're going to actually join into that first stitch. Now some of you might join into slip stitches and then work the first stitch. That's fine, whichever way you prefer. So there we are, we've finished round 2, and you can see that it's taken a lovely shape and we haven't got holes in the middle. Now starting on round 3, so I've got to do a chain, which doesn't count as a stitch, 2 UK double crochets in the first stitch and then 1 in the second for the shaping. So all I do then with my marker is I'll just now move it to the back, so it stays there and you know what it is. Remember, we joined in the first stitch, so we've got to work back into that first stitch to make our first 2 double crochets. A bit fiddly here, so I've joined tight, but that's fine. There we go, 1, second one in the same one, and then 1 single. We're now on the straight section, so 5 single crochets for the US or double for the UK. And as before, because I've used this marker, I know when I'm at the right place. There it is. So I've just flipped my yarn over like I do when I come to it, and now round 3, we've now got 2 stitches 1, 2 stitches 1, 2 stitches 1 to do the shaping. And you know by now that it's a UK double or a US single. So 2 in that one, then 1 in the next one. 2, and 1, coming to the end of the shaping, 2 and 1. So coming round this part of round 3, again we've got 5 straight stitches, so let's just get those done straight away. Flip my marker over so I can see it on the next time, and the next time I'll just flip it back to the front again. I find that the easiest way to use markers rather than actual stitch markers. So there's my 5, and then the corner, let's do that while we're here, is 2 1 2 1 and join. Move my marker, 2 get the marker out of the way, 1 2 1 There we have it. So there's your oval with no gaps in the center, nicely shaped edges, and you will find these markers will sort of go to the right if you're right-handed or to the left if you're left-handed. And then each round after that, you simply do one more single crochet for the US or one more double between the pairs. So the next row you'll do 2 in 1 stitch, then 1 2 singles, 2 in 1 stitch, 1 2 singles, and so on, and it creases like that on each round. Some people like to space out where they do the increase, not always in the same place, to make it a little bit more even, but that's a choice that you can make later on. I hope these videos have really helped you. Thanks so much.